Welcome to the Professional Lovers channel. I'm Al.
And I'm Patty, and we are
The Professional Lovers.
And we're off schedule, but that's okay. Better late than never. We're back for last week's recap, episode 3 of Married at First Sight. We enjoy talking about relationship issues through the lens of Married at First Sight. So if you're a fan and you want to know how we view the different issues that the couples go through, relationship issues, then you're in the right place. And if you're interested in strengthening your relationship, we hope that you're in the right place and that you can use some of the tips that we give from the couples and from ourselves.
True.
Seeing that we have been married 27 years and still going strong. So, without any further ado, let's get started.
Let's do that.
We're going to start with the last two couples who got married on last Wednesday's episode. And the first couple would be Brett and Ryan.
Fire.
I love her hair color. So they liked each other.
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing that stood out as they were at their reception dancing, and she discovered how much of a country boy he is.
Yeah.
And kind of reminded me of Vince from last season, being uncomfortable, doing things
Outside
that
of his
he
own
didn't really know or like, and feeling self-conscious. Well, that was Brett and her two-step.
Yeah.
And, spinning, being spun around, and just not. She's like, there's nothing about me this country.
No, she's an athlete, but she's not an artistic type person. You know?
Yeah. So she was a little uncomfortable, but they kind of got through it.
Yeah.
He seemed to get very nervous as he, like when she first walked in, and he began to realize how much he liked her. Mm-hmm. It's like he got more and more nervous about the fact that
this is real.
Yeah. And he really did like her.
Yeah. I mean, they really enjoy each other. It's just that brand newness, not just newness, brand newness, and the fact that they are attached now and getting to know each other. It's like putting people in a box, or and there is no escape. So you have to go through this process, and that's the only way you do escape, if you choose to escape. But that's not the intention. So they're going to go through a learning process with each other, and I think it might. I think, as they all do, they go through some major challenges in just getting to know one another. So we'll see exactly how.
Well, right now the key is whether or not they can meld that country.
Yeah.
And city mentality, because when she was talking to his friends, and she was like, so what does country mean? Do you have to go out and kill stuff? And they were like, well, hunting
is part of his life.
And she was like, yeah, no. And I was like, yeah, no. If I was marrying a country guy who was into hunting, he'd be doing that all by himself. I don't want to see no animal parts. I don't want to see no blood. I don't want to see any guts. That is just not my. That's not my mentality or comfort level. So you'd be in a house over at the side where you do all the killing and stuff.
I'm an urban product, so I never had to do that either. Whatever we want that used to live was packaged. But somebody has to do it. He's just one who learned how to do it because that's his environment.
And a lot of country people do that.
Yes,
they know how to, wring necks, chicken necks, and stuff. That just would not be me. So I'm feeling her, and it'll be interesting to see how they can bring those things together, and he not be upset that she's not going to go out and kill with him.
I don't think he wants her to go out and kill with him.
I'm just saying, we'll see. When they start having those conversations, we'll see. Because people who hunt, that's like, that's like major for them.
Well, if they do it for self-preservation, I mean, if it's a sport, that's one thing. But if it's for survival, That's an altogether different situation.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. But right now, I like the two of them together.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. The next couple, Rachel and Jose.
Yeah. She said something that just came out totally wrong. When she made a description of what she presented to the experts, she said that looks did not matter, but I got what I wanted.
And his
immediately
face fell.
She don't think I'm...
Because that's all he's been worried about, is whether or not she will be physically attracted to him.
And in all actuality, I mean, that might have gone over a whole lot of people's heads, because if you look at her actions, there was nothing about him that she did not like.
Right. Even the physical aspect.
Yeah.
Although he's a little short. But anyway.
That's your...
That's my short that he's thought that that's my thought that he's short.
That the concern.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, no, he is short.
Yeah, he is short.
Okay. But yeah, so she was fine with his physical looks.
She just said it wrong.
She did say that wrong.
Because that struck a chord.
And you could see that it immediately was like, oh man.
That was a
She
cold
said
shower.
all about personality and not looks. So that made him uncomfortable. But then she picked up already that he wants a perfect wife.
Yeah.
And when he said, I know what I want and I get what I want, she was like, oop. What?
I think he said that wrong too. So.
Yeah, so, but of course, the chemistry was there.
Yeah, no, they were enjoying themselves.
And, you know, we'll see where that went. But I'm nervous, like I said before, because he's all about perfection and high expectations. And
he's a little rigid in his mind.
Yeah.
Now we don't know his actions. We know he's an achiever, and to achieve, you have to have structure.
And you have to be,
focused,
laser focused.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
But we'll see how that works out in the relationship. Merla and Gil. Oh, Merla. Already, she scares me.
And people pick up on it.
Oh, when she was talking to that one guy, his friend, who was like, "You're high maintenance, are you?"
And she was like,
"I don't think, liking what I like is high maintenance."
Why would I have to change my lifestyle? Because you're sharing your life now. I mean, you're sharing your existence with someone else. So there may be a need to adapt or adjust certain things. But in sharing, there's compromise. And that's what sharing is all about. This isn't him being fit into your lifestyle. You have chosen to marry someone.
But right now, she sees it as him fitting into her lifestyle. That she doesn't have to change anything. And that's really going to be a problem if she keeps that mindset.
Yeah.
Changing the name is already a topic. Now, I understand in this situation, because it's, 8 weeks. Well, no, it's 8 weeks. You don't even know if you're going to make it to the end, let alone if you're going to decide to go past 8 weeks and stay married. That becomes a caveat that, regular married folk, as in married through the normal process, don't really have to think about.
True.
And I get, her wanting her attachment to her dad. And I mean, because I did the same thing, as in I'm the only girl in a family of 5. So I've got 4 brothers. And of course, I would be the only one who would lose my maiden name. And I did not want to lose my maiden name. But my, excuse his phone, but my solution to that was to change my middle name to my maiden name so that I have mine and your name. So that was my solution. So I understand as a female having certain reasons for wanting to stay attached to your maiden name, but not instead of taking your name. So, excuse the dog barking.
We're dog sitting.
We're dog sitting, and he's hearing things outside that he thinks he needs to bark at. So anyway, so that's already a little sticking point with Gil. And of course, when they got married and he heard about her penchant for designer things, that's also a worrisome point for him, because he's conservative in his spending. And we know that finances is one of those things that become issues in a couple's relationship. So we'll see how that plays out, because everybody comes with a financial perspective from how they grew up, or how they were trained or how they were not trained. So trying to integrate those perspectives can be very touchy.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting because they do come from different ends of the spectrum.
Michaela and Zach, so far so good. Okay, hey, excuse us a second.
Relax.
Patches. Stop. All right. We may have to put him out and close the door. Anyway, he's seeing somebody out in our yard, and he's feeling very extra protective. So,
Relax.
We're almost done. Just consider it an added,
life.
Yes, an added feature to this week's video.
Yes.
Anyway, no, get down. Okay, so Michaela and Zach, I'm just gonna say, when they showed previews from later on in the show, and you see her being very volatile and all of that, I'm not that surprised, because her intensity level is high anyway.
She's energy.
But it's to me, it goes beyond energy, and it's more intense.
Yeah.
I mean, the intensity of her giddiness, the intensity of her bubbliness. I'm not surprised that the negative intensity, that she would be
any different,
kind of a volatile person, looking person.
Yeah.
We don't know yet, but that's what it appears. So that's going to provide some interesting dialogue as well.
Yeah.
Then the last people, Bao and Johnny. I love the fact that their ethnicity, their heritage,
it's something that they both embrace.
Yes, and is a very great commonality that draws them together, right? But she learned that he's a touchy-feely guy. That's his love language, touch. And she said that's her rock bottom love language. That
But she also said that she had a crush on him from
I thought that was cute that she's been crushing on him since college.
Yeah.
And yet I think the difference in love languages is significant. Her love language, she says, was acts of service. And it's funny because that's exactly how we are. Yeah, I'm acts of service and gifts, and he is touchy-feely. And so that's going to present a dynamic. He's already worried about it, because remember, he likes others to initiate, touch and attention, because that's how he feels wanted.
Right.
And so he's not used to being the one to have to initiate that.
And it was so apparent when he asked
her brothers.
Her friends.
It was her brothers.
All three of those are her brothers?
Well, brothers and friend,
right.
But several of them were her brothers.
Don't y'all hug?
Do you hug her when you're leaving each other?
And they looked at him like he was...
That stone looks...
You got three heads on you.
What you talking about?
Why would we do that?
Yeah. And he's like, uh-oh. I don't know how that's going to work out. But... It'll work out. It has worked out with us.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to learn your spouse's love language. And you have to make yourself be aware of using that love language. And you only do that by practice. And if you got to schedule yourself, I mean, it can be as intentional as scheduling for yourself, not for him. I would need to schedule. I need to make sure that at least once a day, I give him the kind of touch that he needs. And I don't always do that. But
I mean, I'm not an extremist either.
no, but what I'm saying is you're going to have to, and she's going to have to, and he's going to have to figure out how
to navigate that.
Be aware of the other's love language. Because if that's not what one of your languages is,
and you have to understand,
then it's not going to happen naturally.
You have to understand that the person being loved isn't loved until they feel as if they are being loved.
Oh.
So it's not just about what you do to them, it's how they receive what you're doing to them.
Oh, now he's getting into tips in our book that we haven't started sharing yet. But that is true. Yeah. And you will hear more about that as we see those issues play out among the different couples.
That's true. I didn't notice we didn't have the book.
No.
We'll be getting into that eventually.
Yes, we shall. Anything else? I think that was pretty much it.
Yeah. Well, it was just the wedding, and getting to know you, and through the eyes of others who know the individual that you're getting married to.
Right, the family and the friends. Michaela's sisters were hilarious.
They are hilarious.
Because they're like,
they were sitting on the perch, just looking. How are they dealing with each other?
And when they asked him questions, they were like, yeah, we're not really smiling.
No,
we got a wait and see attitude.
Yeah.
But that's going to be funny too for the families getting to know the couples, as it is every season. So that's our recap, kind of brief this time. And hopefully our schedules can get back on track and we can start posting when we normally do. Until then, we're going to cut it off because Patches is making too much noise. And we'll see you next time.
Yes, we will.
Stay safe.
Enjoy.